Well, the main point of this video I'm about to do is be careful of what fuel you get. The fuel I use as an example out of Ed's car, he had no idea he was buying that. Fuel station screwed him over. Same with most other people I know. Even if your car is certified to use ethanol fuel or biofuel, I still would not recommend it because it halves the life of the vehicle, costs you a lot more in servicing, and it's just pointless. And what it does in these older cars, even newer ones, even 5 years old, it eats the fuel lines, eats the fuel pump, eats any seals, gaskets, eats the fuel tank, just destroys everything. It's just not funny. We replaced most of it in Ed's car, but it sounds like the carby jet lines have melted in it and they're blocking themselves off. So do not use biofuel. It'll cost you more in the long run. Well, this video is about bad fuel. On New Year's, Ed came down in his Series 1 Jaguar, and he just got on top of all, got all the dirt out of the carbies and made everything happy. But unfortunately, he got a tank and a bit of ethanol fuel. 100% octane, E10, absolute rubbish fuel. And he had nothing but problems with that car. Got it here, cleared out the system, dumped all the fuel, wasted a lot of money, time, all that shit just to get rid of it all. He got most of the way home and started having problems again. So, and this jar here is what came out of the bottom of one of the tanks that he was running on, which I had previously drained no more than 2 months before. As you can see, it's on a white bit of paper and you can't see through it. And it's been sitting here for quite a while now in hot weather. This should have completely evaporated. So I went past it today and I was like, woof! It smells like varnish, like French polishing wood. Burns your eyes and nose just getting near it. It's awful stuff. And I'll set up a little bit of paper in there. So I'll stir up the shit. I'm going to pour it in here. That's what he pumped into his car. No wonder his carbies are stuffed. My God, that stinks. That fully smells like varnish. It's burning my nose, man. That is horrible. That is just absolute disgusting filth. And it's destroyed his fuel tanks. Yeah, it's just fucked. But I took the gamble and had to put some of that in my car because I had nowhere to put it. This stuff came out of the 100%, he filled that tank up with that ethanol shit. The other tank only had about 5 litres of it in there and 20 litres of good fuel. So I took a gamble and I put that in my Jaguar. So now I'm going to prep my car to run. Because you can pretty much run one of those quadrajets with fuel with small twigs and stones in it. And if it does fail, well, it's on my head because I take full responsibility. But you can see, yeah, awful. Oh, I cannot describe the smell of that to you. It does not smell like petrol at all. Like, my eyes are stinging at the moment. That's just nasty. Just try and get a good close-up of that. As I say, his tank had been drained and flushed not long before this. And the tank that didn't have all the ethanol shit in there was not dirty at all. And that tank wasn't being used. So, yeah. You can see why I said it ruined his tanks. And look at that shit. Different layers. Just eating it out. Well, we're at the back of my car here. There's the rear wheel, there's the rest of the car. I'm just going to drain a little bit out of this tank and just make sure there's no shit in there before I try and run it on petrol. So I haven't even run petrol in probably 6 months in this. God knows what was in there before I put 30 litres of fuel in it. Now I've put another 10 litres of good fuel in there, and I've got a little present for it. And then flush that down with a few more litres of good fuel. Seems going to be fun. Well, let's get this done. Can't wait to go for a little run on petrol. Seeing a glorious amount of horsepower on petrol. That sucks, my entire... The big one's coming out with the little one. Prick. There, if I can cheat a little bit. I'm probably due for new tanks anyway. But I don't care because I got gas. There we go. I'm special. Okay, come here. Alright. I hope none of that got the camera. I've got a fair bit of fuel in there. Beautiful. Alright. There's a bit of rust and shit in there, but not bad. Alright, now I've got to try and stop this camera with one hand. This one's got petrol all over it. Oh yeah, if you're wondering, the little bolt's only for draining and the big one's to get to the in-tank filter. But never try and drain it with the big one, otherwise you'll end up with a big mess on your hands. You always take the little one out first. If it doesn't seem like it's empty, poke it with a screwdriver or something. So usually they get a bit of rust sediment there and it doesn't come through. Oh, this tells the story nicely. This lot came out of a tank that had been drained within the last 2 months and used. This had come out of a tank that probably hasn't been drained in at least a year and hasn't been used in 6 months, and I just pour whatever fuel, you know, out of old cars or whatever into it. So that kind of shows you how bad this stuff is. So there's a bit of rust around here, and my tank's ancient, but I don't care, I run it on LPG all the time. Unlike poor Ed, when this happens, his car stops. He can't just flick it to LPG and keep going. So, if I remember rightly, this is why I went to LPG, because this happened to me one too many times. Now I finally snapped. The price of fuel was very high, and that was that. I went LPG. It was the best decision I ever made, to be honest. But, yeah. Now I've come back 10 minutes later. This bit of paper here is perfectly dry. You can see there's the tiniest amount of moisture in the bottom of that tank. This bit of paper, on the other hand, is not perfectly dry. But that's not water stain. It's like grease, not greasy, a dry, nasty, like brake fluid. And look how much shit is in that. That's just not from his fuel tank. He's probably pumped that out of the ground. Little bit of fuel tank. That's all that stuff's fuel tank. The rest of that's out of the ground. All the shiny bits. Bad fuel. Poor Jaguar. Kitty got some bad fuel. Yeah, present for car. That should make it go better. I'll put 3/4 of this bottle in and wash it down with a bit more 98 octane, and I should have some fun in the next few days. Yeah. Well, I've added all the extra fuel and everything I needed, and as you can see, she be full. There's 45 litres of fun right there. I like that. Just if you're wondering, if you know these cars, the second tank, a bit hard to open, is an LPG filler now. There is no tank in the guard anymore. So that's to fill out the LPG tank that's in the boot. Figured it's better that way. Don't need two fuel tanks. I hate the fillers that you have to get underneath the bloody car pretty much to use. There you go, there's a tank. Oh, there's a cat on my chair. I figure I'll prime the petrol system tonight, and then tomorrow when I go to start it, everything should have, you know, the throttle pump and everything should be full. I'll turn off the gas, turn on the ignition, and turn on the petrol. The pump's working. Okay, that's primed. Cool.